felt empty. I am not a man, I kept repeating to myself. I am not a man. Never would I know the joys of sex. Never would I know the joys of fatherhood. Even now, I spend long hours licking myself, desperately trying to undo wounds that are permanent. Part 3. I have 2 mommies. Newton and I spent another 3 weeks with the blonde woman. Other puppies came and went, and one day I realized what was happening. They were getting adopted. By families with children, by couples, and sometimes just by individuals who looked so full of love. So there was hope for Newton and I after all. We were not going to spend the rest of our lives in a cold garage in upstate New York, but rather we were just waiting for someone to choose us. Newton was so enthralled when I told him this, and every Sunday, Adoption Day, as the blonde woman called it, we made sure to be very well behaved and sit up very straight in the hopes that someone would pick us. We understood that without papers to prove our canine heritage, we would have to sell ourselves on our appearance alone. We awaited every Sunday with anticipation, and when the end of the day came and we were inevitably left behind, we would strategize about how we would look even cuter to potential families next week. I tried not to lose hope, but it was difficult to watch the other puppies come and go while Newton and I remained stagnant. And then one adoption day, I found myself at the bottom of the wheel of fortune. Newton and I were minding our own business, waiting for our daily serving of raw meat. When the blonde woman came into the garage with 2 young men. They stood before Newton and I, making baby talk and cooing about how precious we were, when all of a sudden one of them exclaimed, "He's just adorable. We must have him, honey." I could not help but notice the singular pronoun usage, and since Newton and I were the only puppies there, began to worry. "We are just adorable," I thought. "You must have us." I had never been separated from my brother and could not imagine a world that breaks up families. That was the last time I saw my brother. I miss him, and not a day goes by where I don't think of him and hope that he is okay and well provided for. Perhaps finding him was always my goal in writing and publishing this memoir. Life, though, has a way of writing itself. Ah, Fortuna, you have not forsaken me, and your wheel continues to spin. Later that very day, 2 young women, sisters, sorry, Rob, I left you out of this. Sisters came to the garage late in the evening, long past adoption hours, and proclaimed that they weren't going home without Mr. Peabody. You see, the blonde woman was very strict and almost always enforced the rule that all adoptions must take place by 2 p.m. on Sundays. But these women were very determined and cried that they had driven all the way from Boston through freezing rain and fog for the sole purpose of adopting Mr. Peabody. I could barely contain my excitement and hoped that the blonde woman would let them take me home. They were beautiful. One had curly hair that she sometimes likes to straighten and wear with a headband, like mine. And the other had pale hair, like mine. And one of them smelled like dry roasted peanuts, a scent that I will always associate with love and protection. They gave the blonde woman some money, and the one with curly hair picked me up and gave me a kiss, my very first kiss. So you see, dear readers and listeners, my life has taken a turn for the better. I have 2 mommies that I love so much they should have named me Rex. Instead, they named me Oliver, a name most befitting to my regal and delicate nature. Yes, delicate. Gone are the days of strife. Gone are the days of sleeping on wet straw, the days of needles, the days of taunts from fluffy white dogs. I spend my days now lounging in the sun, having my belly scratched by my mommies, playing with that man who comes over to see mommy. He is my toy. And chewing on the finest of rawhide. And I am happy, so happy. The end.